Hi, welcome to today's video. This is another video featuring one of those pay-as-you-feel bookshops, like a second-hand book charity shop where you pay what you feel. I'm really rubbish at describing it. I've done one previously and people seem to enjoy that video. And what made me think about doing this video is I went to that exact same one only last week, and the first video obviously was pre-COVID and last week was post-COVID, and it had just drastically changed, like so much. If you watched that last video, you'd see they had several different rooms and areas with all different genres. There were literally thousands and thousands of books covering all genres. But when I went last week, they had more than half the stock, what they keep in. They everything was all in the one big main room, so some genres have been completely got rid of, and things like the thriller genre was 2 shelves instead of, I think previously there'd been about 8 massive bookcases full from floor to ceiling. Horror had about 10 books, biography had about 20 books, if that. It just was heartbreaking, really, because they've had to even reduce the amount of donations that they accept. So the most they can accept is 25 books at any one time. And obviously, not only that, but people aren't donating as many. People who possibly are still shielding or who just don't feel safe going out. So yeah, it was like, hard to describe. It wasn't a horrible experience, obviously, because I went finding books and I found ones that I was interested in, but it was just such a shame seeing a place like that completely decimated, really. So I thought, I've come to the same chain of store, but it's in a different area, and I thought it might be interesting just to see if this place has changed. This place used to have 2 massive big rooms full of books and an entire room for children's, with a little children's play area both inside and outside. So yeah, let's see what it looks like now. Here we go. Let's see what it's like, if it's any different. Yeah. My favourite. Right, so yeah, that was surprising. It has changed, definitely, but in the complete opposite way to what I was thinking. So I was thinking that maybe all those extra books in boxes, and the fact that they're saying you can take more, because normally it's 3 books per visit, full stop, regardless of what type of book, what age, genre, everything. So it's 3 books per visit. And obviously you saw the sign, it's now 5 fiction books per visit and unlimited non-fiction. And I was super chuffed about that, because that meant that all the true life and memoirs and biographies and stuff like that, they were all unlimited. So I took a bit of an advantage of that. But yeah, that's just not what I was expecting at all. But I'm thinking now, seeing as the other one in another area has drastically reduced the amount of books they keep in stock, I'm wondering if that's where they've all come from. All the ones in the extra boxes, possibly. So I am going to get home and you might see a little sneaky peek of the books that I got. Hi, it is much later today, this day, that day, whatever. And suddenly just remembered that I didn't show you what I purchased. You'll have to forgive the really crappy lighting. I'm in my office and it's all set up for photography of clothes, so you can just see my mannequin there. So let's see what I got. War Doctor by David Knott. This is the memoir of an army medical surgeon. He actually goes out into the battle areas that the soldiers are sent out to, and he does basically operations on the soldiers. And I think from what I've read, he has also ended up doing emergency operations on the locals in that area. Yeah, this is one that I'm desperate to read, desperate. I did get it out of the library at one point and then completely did not get a chance to read it and just had to take it back. So I now own a copy that actually looks like it's never been read from the spine. The spine's not been broken anyway. Yeah, I'm excited. I like to own and read medical memoirs. And then, well, sticking with the military theme, we've got Bad Company, a woman face to face with the Taliban. This is a memoir of a female sergeant. She was one of the first female soldiers to be deployed to Afghan. And it's basically just her kind of memoir of her time in that war zone. She, from what I remember, she was actually part of the medical corps. I'm not sure whether she was a nurse or just a medically trained soldier, or like a team, section or company medic or whatever. I've no idea, but yeah, I think that's going to be super, super interesting. And some actual pictures in there as well. I'm really interested in both of these, because obviously never in a million years would I have any kind of war zone medical experience. So that is like something just really different to read about. Completely different. I know barely anything about this book. I've seen it. It's recommended a lot to me on Amazon purely because I tend to either browse or buy a lot of memoirs. The only thing I know about this is a teacher's memoir, and some kids I taught and what they taught me. I think it says it all on the tin. Should be interesting because, yeah, I will never be a teacher. This is another one. I'm not too sure what it is. I have this thing of just buying books that sound vaguely interesting. And I'll Never Give You Up by Becky Hope. From a quick scan, like I literally just scanned the synopsis in the thrift shop, and it sounds like she's either social services, child protection, something like that. Actually, right at the beginning, the first sentence, Becky works on the front line of child protection. Every day, her job takes her into the heartbreaking lives of the most defenceless children. So, that is going to be, that's going to be a hard but interesting read. And then something completely different again. A Prison Diary by 8282. I'm assuming that's his prison number. Now, at first, this was actually found in the sci-fi category section, whatever. So I thought maybe it was a novel and it had just been kind of put in the wrong part. I thought it was fiction, but from scanning the back, this is actually a prisoner's diary of being in a UK prison in 2001. So it's not exactly current, but I guess it's going to be an interesting insight. I can't imagine prisons have changed massively. HMP Belmarsh, which is a AA category high security prison in South London, which houses some of Britain's most violent criminals. So I recently read an arc of a very similar kind of prison diary type thing, and I absolutely loved it, because obviously I'm never, fingers crossed, never going to experience being a prisoner. So yeah, I'm interested to read that one. And then I kind of raided, I've only got 4, but still, the foster carer type memoirs. Kathy Glass, I've spoken about her on another video, I'm absolutely convinced. And these are all of Kathy Glass's books are memoirs of children that she and her family have fostered over the years. Each book follows one set child and follows the story from them arriving with Kathy and her family right through to so the story sort of ends when the child leaves, but then there's usually at least a few pages just updating you on how the child got on, you know, in general after they'd left and moved on to whatever situation they were going to. So this one, the synopsis sounds a little different to the others, because all the others, like, I own lots of Kathy Glass books and I've read almost all of them. I think there's 1 or 2 of the newer releases that I've not quite caught up to yet, but they all kind of focus on the child. The synopsis on this one focuses on the mother, and it sounds like it's like a domestic violence situation, and that she has 2 young children. And how far will she go to protect them is the question. So that is one I've never read this before. Quite often I will pick up one that I've read if I don't own it, and I have reread most of the ones that I've had. But yeah, I've never read this one, so I'm looking forward to that actually. I always rate them 5 stars. I think they're fantastic. And the next books are similar, sort of. They are by Tori Hayden. Now, when I say sort of similar, it's because Tori Hayden is actually a teacher. She works with vulnerable children and children who, I guess you want to say, like, kind of developmental or learning issues. Sometimes she ends up working with children who have been classed as quite severe learning difficulties or behavioural problems, and then it turns out that this child has come from a background with some severe abuse and isn't actually a child with learning difficulties. It's just that they're quite traumatised and they're so overwhelmed with everything that's happened that the brain just cannot learn at that moment in time. So it's similar in that she works with children from abusive backgrounds and vulnerable children with problems. families with problems, but she is just their teacher. She works with them during school hours, and isn't like around 24/7 like the foster carers. But again, I've read a couple of these. I have no idea which ones I've read, to be honest. I think I might have read One Child. But they were that long ago that I read them that I'm more than happy to read all of these again at some point. I'm sure I'll figure out as I go along which ones sound familiar. I picked up Zombie Baby by Darren Shan. Zombie is a series, and there's roughly 10 books, I think. It's a YA zombie series. I mean, look at the size of the writing. Yeah. It's YA. I mean, there's even illustrations. So they're going to be an easy read. In fact, it's not even YA that at that level. It looks middle grade, but I'm not sure I would let my middle grade child read about zombies. Especially look at that, how freaky is that? Right, so I have been picking up the books in this series whenever I spot them. I think I've got like the first 5 or 6 owned, and then it's the ones from this one onwards that I didn't have, and this is the first time I've ever seen this in the thrift store. I do want to read them, and I think I'll enjoy them. However, I'm not absolutely so desperate to read them that I will go and pay full price for them. So I'm happy to wait to just pick up the books whenever. And then once I've got them all, I am going to binge read the whole series. But no idea when that'll be. And then, second to last book. I know we have this big debate about J.K. Rowling with the, you know, trans matters and trans rights stuff. But I did say in my last video my kind of stance on it, which is Harry Potter and the spin-offs. The communities have taken those and made them their own. I don't purchase anything brand new. I will only purchase these books or memorabilia or merchandise or anything like that when I see them in thrift stores. So, or like car boots or people just selling them in general from their own collection. So she does not benefit in any way from me buying these books. This is one that I've not got, definitely. In fact, this is the first time I've ever seen it in a charity shop. So I'm super excited to add this to my collection, and it does look so beautiful, doesn't it? Just look at it. Gorgeous. Right. And the final book, the pièce de résistance. Shit at accents, Anna. Dun, dun, dun! The Troop by Nick Cutter. The Troop. I love this book. I loved it. I read it. I bought it as an ebook, based on people saying that it was sick and messed up, and I gave it 5 stars. I absolutely adored this book. Oh, I loved it. And this was on my Amazon wish list, a specific wish list of books that I've read but that I want to collect and own an actual copy of. But now I've been able to delete it off that list because I found it. I just love it. I love it. If you've never heard of this book, then it is a group of, I'm not sure if the Scouts or some kind of group organisation like that. The leader takes them onto an island for some kind of like survival week camping type thing. It's like a tradition that it happens every year. Unfortunately, this guy turns up who they don't know. He's acting very odd, and I can't tell you much more without ruining the story. Let's just say he's infected and he infects other people, and the kids have to try and figure out how to survive, basically, until they can get off the island. But yeah, it's freaky, it's weird, it's gruesome, all the other kind of words that describe stuff like that. Sick and twisted. Scouts, yeah. So it's a book of scouts. A book of scouts? No, it's a group of scouts. So yes. So that was my haul. It's pay as you feel, and it is a sealed wooden box that you put your donation in, so you don't have to hand the money over to anybody. And that is specifically done by this organisation so that people who can't afford very much don't feel embarrassed, I would guess, about how much they are donating. So you just kind of, in theory, I could have paid 1 penny for these and nobody would have known, and I could have walked out fine. I don't do that because it is a charity and it's run purely on donations from the bookshops. So I only gave 50 pence per book, which is what I would normally pay, usually in like car boot sales and charity shops and stuff. Sometimes I give a bit more, like, it just depends what money I've got in my purse at the time. But yeah, so I can't think what I paid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So £6, 6 whole English earth pounds. And I got all these books. I love going there. I think it's fantastic. So I hope you enjoyed coming charity shopping for books with me, and I will see you all soon with my next video. Bye.